Well, hello, I'm Gary Davis. I'm another instructor, your second instructor in HEOC, Higher Education Organizational Change, 725, Policy, Politics, and Law of Higher Education. We've taken a look at the laws of higher education, or the laws that affect higher education. Now we're going to take a look at policy and then eventually examine the influence of politics on higher education. And they're all connected. One of the things that we want to talk about today in this short video clip is how they are connected, at least how laws and policies are connected. We'll get to the politics in a couple of weeks. As a matter of fact, in a couple of weeks you will be asked to interview a legislator, a lawmaker, or a staffer for a lawmaker or a legislator. It could be on the state level, it could be on the local level, it could even be on the federal level. This is going to take some time, and we're asking you to get started now to line up that interview. We're going to ask you to find out what people are telling that lawmaker concerning higher education. What is the lawmaker hearing about issues in higher education? And also, what would the lawmaker like to know more about? Those are the two basic questions. Pretty simple. But this is also a process assignment. We're trying to help you explore the process of politics, how it works, sometimes how it doesn't work, and the best way to do that is to actually experience it for yourself. So we're asking you to, and this is harder than it sounds, get an appointment with your lawmaker. You would think that if you were a voter, you would have easy access to a lawmaker, but some of you may find that that is not necessarily the case. If you have trouble completing this assignment, we want you to kind of keep a log on your efforts so that you can, if the worst happens and you're not able to connect with the legislator or the lawmaker, you can at least tell us a story of what you did to try to set up the appointment or the interview and why it didn't work out. We've actually had that happen a couple of times, and we'll take that in lieu of an interview with the legislator. But we'd ask you to detail your effort step by step. So keep records of what you're doing in order to complete this assignment, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. Now's the time to get started. Don't wait a couple of weeks to start it. That will be too late, because these legislators and lawmakers work with advanced scheduling, and if you try to reach them sometimes at the last minute, you will not be successful. Now today we want to talk about the connection between politics or policy and law. We'll leave politics aside for the moment. Every university has its own history, has its own culture, has its own mission, and that's one of the things that makes higher education interesting. No two universities are exactly the same. I'm going to use the term university, but everything I say about the university would also apply to a college. They all have their own ways of doing things. Those ways are summed up in institutional policies. Policies are broad guidelines to influence human behavior. For every policy, there will have to be procedures that are used to put that policy into practice. All policy-making authority resides in the board of the institution. That's called governance. And institutional governance in higher education rests with the board. That's the board's primary responsibility. Boards shouldn't be involved in the day-to-day operation of the college or the university, although some trustees sometimes try to do that. By law, the board's job is to govern, and that means make policy. The policies of the institution are constraints, but they're self-imposed constraints for the most part. This is a university saying this is how we want to operate. These are the guidelines that will control operations, let's put it that way. Within those broad guidelines, several different operational alternatives present themselves, and it's up to the people that run the institution to decide exactly how to operate the institution. But whatever they do in terms of institutional operation, it must be within the constraints of university policy prescribed by the board. There is around that another circle I'm going to draw, which is the circle of law. These are the laws of the land, federal laws, state laws, local ordinances that are passed by legislatures, by senates, by congresses, by city councils, and they constrain the way the university must operate. You would be mistaken if you thought that the board's power exceeded that of the state or the federal government. They do not. The university board must operate within legal constraints, and that's what the second circle is meant to indicate. Now, there are people in the society outside of the university and outside of the legal system who want to change the way the university operates. And Mothers for Drunk Driving, for example, want to see responsible drinking by the college students, and they can take a couple of attacks in changing the way the university functions. If they want to shape the university culture, they can do it in one of two ways. They can either pass a law that will constrain what the university does. For instance, drinking age laws. Every state has them, and the university must function within that state law. Or they could, if they wish, and sometimes MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving is a good example of this, take the reference directly to the university and appeal to the board of the university, trying to shape the policies of the institution so that even beyond what is required by the law, there'll be additional requirements imposed by the Board of Trustees. What I'd like you to do is to start looking at Inside Higher Education. It's a website. Just Google Inside Higher Education and look for the stories of the day. There are usually 5 or 6 stories. You'll see about half of them dealing with external forces, people out there in the larger world, the world of our larger culture, who are trying to influence in one way or another the way the university does its thing. Check for successes. What I'd like you to do is to look for external agencies, invisible hands is what Altbach calls them, that are successful in influencing the course of the university and the policies of the university. Also look for organizations that have failed in their attempts to change the policies and the culture of the university. What I'd like you to do is to see if you could identify what makes for success and what makes for failure as external forces try to influence the nature of American higher education. That's really what we're talking about in this part of the course. So that's the assignment in general. I mean, that's what we're trying to accomplish in this part of the course. You have specific assignments assigned, which you can find online. If you have any questions, you can always call me. And I think in the syllabus, you should be able to find my telephone number, but just in case, I'm going to write it right here, 217-737-3359. That's my telephone number, and my email is gwdavis44@comcast.net. Both of these avenues are good ways to get hold of me, and if you have any questions about any of the assignments along the way, even as you're beginning the assignment and you want some feedback from me, I'd be happy to talk with you about that. So give me a call or send me an email and we'll talk about whatever issue is on your mind. I'm Gary Davis, and I'm looking forward to working with you in HEOC 725.